Thanks for helping me out today. We have scheduled the session to run approximately 60 minutes. And before we start, I'll explain the setup and how the session works. I am responsible for conducting some customer research for a hotel booking website. We are trying to identify issues that could be fixed to make the website easier to use. To do that, we're talking to people like you. And based on your feedback, we're hoping to pinpoint areas for improvement. You fine?
Yes.
Okay. Let me explain the setup. I'll be asking you questions and talking you through the test. We have a camera and a microphone to record what you do. We will record a session for note-taking purposes, but the footage will not be seen by anyone outside the team. That session is divided into two parts. First, we will ask you some general questions about your experience with booking hotel accommodation. Then we'll ask you to perform a few tasks on two hotel booking websites and ask you some questions as you go. There are a few things to keep in mind that will help the test run smoother. First, the session is called a usability test, but it's important to know that we're not testing you, we're testing the website. There are no right or wrong answers, there are no trick questions, and we're not trying to catch you out in any way. If you do come across problems, please understand that it's not your fault, it's the software's fault, and in fact, the more problems you find, the better we can fix them. Second, please be as candid as possible. If you don't like something or think it's just plain silly, please say so. You won't hurt my feelings. I have not been involved in the design of any of these screens. Third, as you navigate around the website, whatever is going through your head, please verbalize it. For example, if you're about to click on a button, say, I'm going to click here because I think it's going to take me to the next page, or I'm looking around the screen for the price. Basically, we want you to think aloud. It helps us write a better note. Also, if you could approach things slightly slower than normally would, that would be really helpful. If you walk your way around the site too fast, we might not be able to take notes quick enough. I'll remind you to think aloud and slow down throughout the session. You got it?
Yes.
Okay. Finally, please feel free to ask any questions you like. It's a great way for us to understand your thoughts. But in order to keep the test as realistic as possible, I may not always answer the questions. Thanks for understanding. Have you got any questions before we start?
No questions.
Okay, very good. Rosa, thank you so much. Can you tell me about your job, please, or about your occupation, or if you are a student?
I'm a student right now, but I used to be a teacher, but I am currently having a new course for a new for my career.
Okay, where do you live at the moment?
I live in Canada.
Okay, how do you access the internet? Is it at home, at school, or by phone, or through your computer?
I do access internet through my phone, through my laptop, and in school we have a free service given by the school wherein we allowed to do some research. So we have some laptops and desktops at the same time that we can access.
Do you have, or do you use website or apps on your phone or in your computer?
Do you mean website or apps?
Do you
What
use, do you use website or apps on your computer or on your phone?
I do have a lot of apps in my phone, and in my
Sorry for that. What sort of website or apps do you use?
I usually use the social media apps most of the time: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and I also have some apps for my banks and apps for Google for my mails and for traveling. Airbnb, Look. I also have a Skyscanner to see the prices.
Okay, thank you. And why have you typically booked hotels in the past?
Where
Why?
Can you repeat that?
Why have you typically booked hotels in the past?
I used to travel before, so I needed to do exits from the company that I worked with before. So that's the reason why I'm looking for hotels.
Okay, and it's mainly for business, isn't it?
It's for business,
Okay.
yes, and I tried traveling also, but most of my travel involves business.
Thank you. And what countries have you booked hotels in?
I have booked hotels in, of course, here in Canada, in Vietnam, in Malaysia, in Taiwan, in Bali, Indonesia, and I think that's the countries I've remembered so far. I might find some, but those are the ones that I remember.
Yeah, thank you for that. How did you book hotel accommodation? Do you think you booked it via online, a traveling agency, or somewhere else?
I've tried traveling agency for those countries where I have a language barrier, like Vietnam and Taiwan. But most of the time, I always download an app such as Airbnb or Booking.com app for me to easily access my hotels, cars, or rentals.
Okay. Can you describe the last time you booked hotel accommodation? What was the scenario?
The recent one, my quarantine here in Canada last year, so I booked a hotel using my laptop through a website for my 14 days quarantine.
Okay, and what were the most important criteria when booking a hotel?
Number one is how big the room is. I think this also matters for me, the space, because I don't want to be in a place where I have a limited area for my bed, for my closet. And the next criteria I will have to look at is the price. It has to be within my budget. And probably the third one is the aesthetic of the room, how comfortable it is to look, and how nice it is, because it's a place that I'll be sleeping on, so it has to be nice in my eyes.
Do you also consider the location of the hotel?
I only take a consideration of the location only if I specifically want to go in a place. But if I'm only for sightseeing, it doesn't really matter where the place is, as long as it's always within the budget.
Okay, and can you try to describe how you came to make your selection?
Probably because of my preferences. My preferences always goes with space. That's very important for me. Space for where I can take care of myself, a space for a comfortable bed, and I think that's really my preferences to make myself comfortable. That's where my basis comes from. What makes me comfortable will always be my criteria choosing a place to stay.
Okay, and did you compare different hotel options?
Yes, I do. I have a lot of apps. I download a lot so I can compare different hotels in different apps. We do have some difference most of the time.
And can you tell me a sort of like 2 or 3 comparison of the apps that you use?
Comparison in what sense?
Like how you come up with your decision with your preferences, like the location, the prices, the aesthetic of the rooms, or whatsoever.
So when I use apps and compare them, the first thing I have to see is, usually in my experience, the aesthetic, because it's the first thing that we see. We only base them by our perception, and it's the first thing I see. So if this app looks better, that would have more points.
Okay. Right after having the aesthetic or comparing 3 apps together, is there any second thing that you have to consider? Like how about the price, the location?
The price is always an important factor, because even how nice the place is, and I can afford it, so there's no point for me going through the details of it. So if the price is between the budget for both 3 apps, they have this. Will be like 3 hotels of the same price. It's within the range of my budget, and then the next thing I consider is how good it looks like.
Okay, thank you. Did you have any particular worries or concerns when booking hotel accommodations?
Can you repeat that again?
Did you have any particular worries or concerns when booking hotel accommodations?
I think I'm always worried about the reviews. That's why I always reviews are very important for me. That's something that will make me understand or see how good the service is. So I think that will worry much if the hotel doesn't have any reviews. I don't have anything for comparison.
Okay, how about the amenities? Do you also consider it?
If I'm traveling for vacation, of course I always consider the amenities of the place. It would also be better for me to go to a hotel with more of it. So it gives me more of what I'm paying for. It's really the amenities that they can pay for.
Okay, and overall, how did you find the experience of booking a hotel?
I kind of like it because it's fun to choose a place where you're going to stay, even if it's not for a business or for that for a travel. But at the end of the day, you're in a different place, not your home. So it's something that you really look forward to.
Okay, and is there anything you would do differently the next time?
Probably I will always need to have a lot of options just in case that when I come to the place of my showing, of my case, and there will be any problem there, I should always have a plan B. So whatever happens with my plan A, I know that I have another hotel ready to go to.
Okay, we're done with the background questions. We're off to the task now. Would you be so nice jotting down some notes, okay?
Alright.
Lovely. Here are the notes. You live in Dublin and are planning a holiday break next summer. You are traveling to Barcelona with a partner for a week. You already booked the flights to Barcelona on June 12, returning on June 19. You would like the hotel to be located in the heart of Barcelona, close to the seaside. You would like also to make the payment on arrival, rather than paying upfront, with the possibility to cancel the room if needed. Okay, we want you to do visit one website, book a hotel room in Barcelona with breakfast included. Can you please share your screen if that's fine?
Okay. Let me just make sure that the notes is ready.
Would you like me to repeat all the specifications?
Thank you.
You're fine, yeah?
Yes, thank you. Alright, on the screen. So should I share my entire screen, or it's okay if I share part of it?
The entire screen would be lovely. You know how to share screen? Sure.
Yep. Actually, it's my preference that does not allow me to share my screen. So checking up on my privacy, if I can have Google. Let me try to share. So is it okay if I share first one website?
Yep.
Okay, can you see that?
I think so. Okay.
So I'm in Tableau right now.
Okay, here we go. Now, can you, it would be fine if you can tell me what you can see on the page, if the navigation is to define the arrangement of the assets where you redefine your end.
Okay, I start with Trivago.
This is Traveloka.
Can Traveloka? Oh, okay. Alright, so I'm having this one. Okay, so I kind of like this setup because there are a lot of symbols that I can choose right away. So it's very easy for me to find the information that I wanted to put in. For example, like for the flight, this is very specific information. So I can actually just go here right away. So I'm going to Dublin. I'm from Dublin.
Yeah, you live in Dublin.
And then I'm going to Barcelona. I kind of like this setup because it's very specific, especially with the symbols on the left side. I can just choose right away. It's very convenient as a person who booked, and then I'm an adult, so with my parents it will be 2. So my date going there will be on June 12th. Okay, so that will be June 2020. So June 12th. So I just have to click with the number, which is convenient. That's my departure date, and my return date is on the 19th, I believe. So this one, I already have the chance to choose the type of seat class, which is good. So I'm going to do with probably economy. I'm searching for the flight.
Okay. Can you describe what you see in this page here?
Now I can still searching for flights, so probably it's still looking for the flights. Oh, there's no flight available. Probably this is caused by the pandemic, but they're not allowing us to fly yet.
Okay.
But this is a good screen to look at. There's nothing much of an information or unnecessary information in the screen. It's just the important ones when they directed you for your flights. So it looks clean. There's nothing much going on that is unnecessary, and that is for me a good factor.
Okay. Let's try to have the conclusion questions. Overall, what do you think about this experience?
My experience in booking in Traveloka, you mean?
Yeah.
I kind of love the website because it's very on point to what the customer needs. And if it's less written in there and there's no symbols, for me, I kind of like, I need to scan a little. So I like websites that are very specific and who have no symbols. I can just click on them whenever I need them.
Okay, and was there anything you particularly liked or disliked about the process?
No, not really. I didn't dislike anything from the process so far. It's quick.
Okay, and was there anything you expected to see but did not?
Probably, no, I'm not expecting for anything because I think when you book for hotels or for flights, these are very important matters and it shouldn't be mixed with unnecessary information.
And was there anything you were surprised to see?
Nothing really surprises me.
Okay.
It's like the normal website.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's try to go to the second website then. Let's try to have the Trivago, please.
Okay, is it okay if we take a pause?
Yeah, sure. You should be fine.
So should we go on with the recording while we take a pause?
Yeah, you should be fine. Okay, let me stop the recording now for your own.